welcome to the Hammer Smash Podcast, the weekly podcast that takes place weekly. What's up?
Start that again. Start that again. Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to the Hammer Smash Podcast.
It's not as energetic. Do it one more time. I'm so sorry. You were perfect the first time.
I was like going for it, and you were like,
Dude.
no, do it again.
Hold on, it was still counting down on my end, and you were going.
No, on my end, it was going.
Oh,
okay,
fuck.
hang
All
on.
right, go ahead.
Let me... Welcome to the Hammer Smash Podcast, where we talk about shit weekly. We do this weekly, every week. We never miss a week, ever.
Starting now.
Starting now, we never miss a week, ever.
Ever.
I am joined, as always, by my lovely, beautiful friend, Andrew. Say hi.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. The cream of the crop. I need to rise to the top.
Today we're talking about this is an interesting topic actually because it's kind of like left field for us. We're gonna be talking about UFOs and they go by UAPs now. UAPs, which is like I guess like what everybody's calling them now.
Unidentified aerial project.
Phenomena.
Oh, cool.
No, I think they changed it because I think there's just like the correlation behind like UFO is like it's become like a fucking joke. You know what I mean? Like anyone thinks UFO, they're thinking of like fucking little green men and like fucking
when it's probably like just some other country testing something out, and we just happen to get a glimpse of it, and everyone's just like,
I blame the media.
I'm saying it's just like, no, it's a plane.
The
like,
entertainment industry. The entertainment industry is responsible for. Yeah. Oh no, not just like the entertainment. I mean, just like the cover-ups and like we know that there's fucked up shit out there that we don't understand. I'm not saying that there's aliens. I don't know if extraterrestrials even exist. It's
interesting to look into, and there's a lot of shit we don't know.
There are things going on in the skies that the government has acknowledged that they do not know what it is. That's
a fucking look in your eyes right now, brother.
It's true though. There's some fucking weird shit going on, dude.
There is, but it's like the look that you just had is like the fucking government,
dude.
Like I don't trust them either. It's just the look that you had. I was like, this is some History Channel shit.
No, for real. There are things out there, and the government has actually fucking acknowledged that they exist. Like we don't know what they are. Maybe they know, but we only know what they've told us.
Didn't the guy from Blink 182 have some footage and the government was like, yeah, that's real?
Tom, I don't know.
I know that like he teaches a school about how to catch aliens.
I don't know. It might be all bullshit.
There
are so many people in the UFO world that are just like fucking clout chasers that like make money off of like making people like hopeful and like promising shit but not delivering anything,
or making people who aren't really connected to reality paranoid as fuck.
That, or they just take advantage of those people. Like, whatever you think, that's real.
You need to give me some money so I can protect you from the fairies at night. Dude, they do it.
It's sad. There are a lot of fucking idiots out there, and they're preaching to people who are definitely gullible. And I like to look at UAPs rather in a very like. My mindset is I acknowledge that they're there. I don't know what the fuck they are. I would like for them to be like some sort of, intelligent species like beyond the skies.
Can I ask you why though? Like, why would you want it to be something with that level of technology?
So there's
that could fuck us up?
There's two ways of looking at it. Are you more afraid that there are species beyond our existence, beyond our star system, or are you more afraid that we're alone? Which one of those is more terrifying to you? So I think it's more terrifying that we are alone, honestly.
Being alone is more terrifying to me because it's like, well, like, were we always alone? Like, did some shit happen? Like, it brings up more questions. But for me personally, I don't know if this is going to sound like I'm a bad person. I hope it doesn't. I like being at the top of the food chain. So if there's something that can just like oh, that planet that's like, I don't know, 1,000 light years away. Let's go over there and just see what those like weird apes are doing. And then they just snap and they're just fucking here and they're just like peeping shit.
It would be the equivalent of
come
us,
look
like,
at this. Like, come look at this. See if you seeing the same shit as me. Because these motherfuckers look like they have bombs. And then, like, they just watch us nuke the shit out of each other.
You know, actually, it's funny you mentioned nukes and bombs because nuclear test sites and stuff, for some reason, it attracts these things.
Yeah.
Like nuclear subs and...
After the first bomb dropped...
Sorry, that was...
that was gnarly.
Dude, I've been waiting for that for like 10 minutes. But,
God
okay,
damn.
anyway.
After the first bomb dropped, like the first atomic bomb, like sightings of UFOs went through the fucking roof. Like people were calling and sending letters and all this other shit, constantly being like, "Fucking yeah." And it's just, it leads to people theorizing like, what if these things, if they are real, which because again, like I don't have anything concrete either way. I just think it's cool to look at, you know? But it led to people theorizing, like, well, what if they're checking us out? Because now they realize, like, oh, shit, like, these dudes could wipe out a fucking planet if they wanted to.
Dude, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
It would be like us discovering that monkeys have learned how to create firearms.
No, dude, it's like the equivalent. I would look at it like this. I feel like if there were an intelligent species, it would be like the equivalent of us just looking at ants. Like,
but like now the ants have nuclear warheads.
No, I mean like the intelligence difference, though. That's
the intelligence difference,
mean.
yeah, because they could look at that and just be like, huh, a few billion years, you guys just figured that out. That's cool. Let's keep an eye on these guys. Make sure that they don't go to anywhere else and do this shit.
Right.
Can I tell you a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, we can, but we will actually throughout this podcast, we will mention what's a conspiracy theory and what isn't, just to clarify.
Yeah, this is this is just like a conspiracy theory that like some people in the UFO community believe. I don't personally buy it, but I think it, like all of this, I just think it's interesting because I'm just like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Look at that. But have you ever heard of like prison planet theory?
No, I haven't.
So think about what we are. We walk upright even though it hurts our backs. The sun kills us. Everything on this planet can kill us. Even like the most minuscule of life on this planet can take us the fuck out. We have an immune system that will kill us if it acknowledges, like, if our immune system realizes that our eyes are there, it makes us go blind because it starts attacking our eyes. Your immune system doesn't know that your eyes exist. So, like, we're literally...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And our brains will kill our body to preserve itself. The reason that you pass out when you start breathing in a bunch of smoke is because your body wants to take less breaths so that it doesn't get, like, your brain full of fucking smoke. So your brain just slows everything the fuck down, makes you drop, and then you start breathing the smoke in your sleep and you fucking die. That's also why you fucking freeze to death, because you start walking through the snow and all of a sudden you're just like, holy fuck, I'm exhausted. I should lay down. Your brain's like, let's conserve energy. Lay down. And then you freeze to death.
An interesting thing also, whenever you're going through hypothermia, one of the last stages, you get extremely hot.
Yeah, so you start taking off all your clothes.
Yeah, you take off all your clothes and you just fucking, that's what kills you.
But anyway, so all of these different things have led some people to believe that we are living where we shouldn't. And there are multiple things that tie into this.
Like the flat earth, man.
Yeah. One theory is that we were on Mars and that a pod was sent here with however many people. They populated, Mars died off because we did whatever. One theory, which kind of goes into like some Anunnaki territory. Do you know about those fellas? So it kind of goes there where we got created and then they were like, these things are fucking weird, so let's just stick them over here. And that's why nature kills us. It's because we got put somewhere else so that they didn't have to deal with it. Not saying that they're the specific group that did it, but it's like a similar thing of a higher order thing, like using gene fuckery to make some shit. One theory, and I think this ties into, like, there's a tribe in Central America where in their religion, they're, like, before humans, there was this big egg in the sky that came down and was cracked, and the first humans came out of that, and the egg was put in the sky, and that's the moon. So
that makes sense, man.
There's that. It does make sense. Which that
it adds up, dude.
It does. Like, just the maths. Then when you start looking at the moon, doesn't weigh what it should relative to, like, its size. It's way bigger than a moon should be compared to the size of our planet. Some people talk about, like, the shadow structures on the moon, and then some people believe that a lot of the craters that are on the moon were not caused by asteroids, but by it, like, sinking in on itself, because it allegedly, because again, this is just conspiracies, it's hollow and used as an observatory to check out what's going on Earth. And then there are the people who are like, there's this galactic federation, and we're on Earth.
People.
Yeah, and we're on Earth because we were the evilest fucking creatures on whatever system we used to be in. So they took us and stuck us there so that we could just breed like rabbits and take over this world and think that we were dominant.
There's even a conspiracy. Have you ever heard of hollow Earth theory?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I love that shit.
Well.
Like Agartha, and like some people tie Agartha and Shangri-La together, which Shangri-La is more of a religious thing. But it's all just like, yeah, and there's theories that, like, there's an entrance to the hollow Earth in Antarctica, and there's one in the Himalayas, and the reason that Sherpas are so fucking dead set on making sure you stay on mapped pieces isn't for your safety, it's so you don't find the entrance to the hollow Earth, or the entrance to Agartha, or the entrance to Shangri-La, or whatever, because it changes depending on who you ask, because none of these fuckers can agree on anything. And some of the people who live on the Himalayas, they believe in zombies, basically. I don't know the actual name of it. I forgot. I used to know it. In their language, they're not called zombies. Like, it's a different word, but it's basically a reanimated corpse, and it can only be killed in certain ways depending on how it was reanimated, or like what type of spirit inhabits that body. Like, some of them you have to hit them in the head exactly. Some of them you have to break a specific bone. But regardless of what you do, if you don't do the one specific thing, they won't die. But the reason that a lot of places in there, especially like the houses of superstitious people, their doors are low so that you have to duck in, because they believe that these corpses are shriveled up so they can't bend down without breaking in half and just basically dying. So, and like, if you see one in the distance and you look at it, it takes that as a threat and it fucking kills you. So there are people who, and I don't know how true this is.
You look at me, you son of a bitch. That's a
you
zombie.
Looking at me, motherfucker?
Yeah, but zombies just turn into like backwoods rednecks. You looking at me, you son of a bitch?
All zombies turn into Scott Steiner when they get angry. But they're like, and this is hearsay, obviously, but there are people who are like, I went to the Himalayas and I looked off in the distance and it was nighttime and I seen this person, and then I looked at the Sherpa who was guiding us and I was all like, yo, what's that? And they were like, that's a fucking undead person. Don't look at it because it'll fucking kill you. And I was all like, holy shit. So that's why I'm writing this post. Anyway, the best recipe for blueberry cobbler I ever met in my fucking life. It's just shit like that.
That is absolutely a recipe, like fucking.
Dude,
I hate reading recipes,
go off on
dude.
tangents, dude. It's like,
dude,
when I was 7, my mama introduced to me the marshmallow sit down. And the marshmallow sit downs have 3 fucking ingredients. You don't need a recipe for that. You just need someone to tell you what it is. But there are recipes for it. It's like, my mama introduced me. We was watching The Lion King. It was like, bro.
It's like, when I was born, I was a baby. I was young at a very early age.
Yes, sir. When I was in the 1st grade, I had a fish, and his name was Swimmy. And he would only go in circles despite being in a square tank. I think there was something wrong with him. Anyway, this one day, he goes real still like, and my dad's like, well, Swimmy's dead. So we took him to the bathroom and we threw him in the toilet, and I was about to flush it, but we said a prayer because you always got to say a prayer before delivering a body unto the dead. So we said a prayer to Mr. Jeebus and Jesus Christ and Allah and Buddha and whoever the fuck was listening. And suddenly Swimmy's eyes just got to moving around and he started swimming. And I was all like, well, holy shit. But my dad's like, no, sir, he's been in there. We ain't putting him back in the tank. So he flushed it. And that was the worst day of my life.
And
but
then my mom made some buttermilk chicken.
Yeah. And it made me forget about all of my problems. I did that one time.
What? You made some chicken after?
No. So I was like 6, and my family became close friends with the ladies who they ran a children's home, basically. Not necessarily an orphanage, but people like the parents didn't have the financial means to take care of the kid.
Right.
They could live there, and then they could have like visitation and things like that, like good service. I was like 6 years old, so because we were such close friends with the people running it, like we were in and out of there all the time, just like visiting, hanging out, bringing stuff to the kids, stuff like that. And one day, this girl, she was like 15, I think. She was like, "Hey, Paxton," because like she knew me because I was over there all the time. She wanted to include me in it because like I'm a little kid. Little kids like to be included in things. So she was like, "My fish died. We're gonna have a funeral for it. Do you want to come?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah." So I went, and we're all in this bathroom, and like she's like crying, and
oh no,
Miss Shaniqua, who was one of the people who ran it, she said a prayer because, you know, like it was a Christian establishment, so like they're like, let's have an actual funeral if we're gonna have a funeral. So they said prayers and everything, and then suddenly the fish like started moving its fins a little bit. So they were like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Motherfucker, I came to watch a fish get flushed. I'm gonna watch a fish get flushed." I pushed past everybody and just fucking slapped down. Slapped down the handle, and everyone's screaming, "No!" And I felt so bad after doing that, but I was like, "Dude, I came to see this shit get done, bro."
You like pull out a gun,
like, "You back the fuck away! I came here for
no,
this."
I meant to put the fish down.
No, I was like pointing it at this girl thought her fish was dead, so I pulled a gun on her to make sure she flushed it.
No.
Oh my god.
We gotta put this fish down. He's in pain.
He's suffering. He only
get a shovel out.
But God, brother, I remember that vividly.
Yeah.
I still remember their screams.
Like, God, man.
Every person, like even Miss Shaniqua, she was like, "Why would you do that?" And I thought, because like I had seen like cartoons and shit, like people flushing a dead fish. So in my mind, if the fucker was in there, he was getting flushed either way. It didn't matter.
Right.
But they were about to flush, and all of a sudden, like it started doing like that, and she was like, "Yeah, like I don't know, like because fish don't sleep, bro." But she was like, "Oh my god, like he's moving, like everybody, hang on, he's moving." And I was just like, I was far enough away, like I could see it, but I was like, can't stay that, and I was like, and just fucking slammed on the fucking toilet handle, and dude, everybody, like people that the fish didn't even belong to, they were just like, "No!"
You know what? Maybe it was like a happy ending, kind of like Finding Nemo.
He
like,
got to the ocean and now
he
he's
gets
safe.
Flushed, but he's a freshwater fish. He gets into the ocean. He's like, "Yes! Oh God,
I fucking died." God, that was just that's one of those core memories. It's one of the things
I love it, man.
I'm
It's
never
so
gonna
good.
let go of that story because that's one of them things where I just look back on it every now and again and I'm just like, hell yeah.
You know what? This is a great transitional thing. Speaking of childhood trauma, we're gonna talk about this really crazy case actually, where these children in Zimbabwe apparently witnessed a UFO land.
Fucking aliens.
And they saw these ETs walking around, and some of the kids even like mentioned that they were telepathically talking to them about like preserving the earth and
speaking of ET, have you ever watched Mac and Me?
No, I haven't.
Bro, have I told you about Mac and Me? This will take 5 minutes. Okay,
hold that thought, guys.
I'm sorry. You said ET and I was like, ET, Steven Spielberg, McDonald's, Mac and Me. So
Mac and cheese, Mac and Me.
Yeah, so Mac and Me is about it was made by the same company that does all the food shipping for McDonald's, or at least they did at the time the movie was made. Paul Rudd's in it, like as a kid. So this is like one of his early, I'm pretty sure he's in it. I might be wrong. I know he's a big fan of the movie. I'm pretty sure it's because he's in it. Anyway, there's these aliens. They live on a planet where the core of the earth is Coca-Cola, and they love McDonald's. And they get sucked up into this. It gets weirder. It gets weirder.
Oh, dude, I've seen this before. I'm looking at the fucking images.
Yeah, where like this crippled kid gets fucking peeled. Like they light this fucker up. And, like, Mac's whole family, they gather around, they start doing the Wu-Tang symbol, and they bring him back to life. I fucking love that movie so much.
Dude.
They launched a kid in a wheelchair off a cliff in that movie.
Dude, if you're watching the podcast right now, if you're watching it just on the screen, this is the alien. This is what... Yeah.
They're constantly, it's like, ooh. But the end of it, they pass their U.S. citizenship test. They become officially citizens because that's just how it works. And they're driving down the road, and this bubble comes out of one of their mouths, and the bubble says, like, we'll be back, or, like, see you soon, or some shit like that. Like, they were setting up a sequel. And fucking Squire McFry, like, the dude who was Ronald McDonald in all the commercials and shit at the time, Squire McFucking-Fry is in that movie, just walking around at McDonald's. Just like vibing, because they did this whole dance, like they dressed up Mac as a bear and took him to McDonald's, and fucking Squire McFry is running around. It's like, are you enjoying your French fries, little fella? And everyone's just like, yeah, it's Ronald. And there's just this bear who suddenly moves very fluidly, despite the fact that when he's not in the costume, he's very stiff.
Right.
I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, dude, that movie goes so fucking hard. I love Mac and Me. Anyway, so people in Zimbabwe met Mac, and they saw him do the Wu-Tang symbol, and it started like penetrating their brains and shit.
That's the conspiracy side of the story.
Yeah. What actually happened was that Steven Spielberg came down in his egg ship.
Yeah, dude. But like,
he came down in the fucking egg hornet from Sonic Adventures.
What the fuck, man? Steven Spielberg is actually Dr. Eggman. That's a real conspiracy.
Is it real?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, who in the fuck?
There's so much bullshit out there that might be one. It's the only one that turns out real.
It's the only one. Said Steven Spielberg is like from an alternate dimension.
He fucking hates Sonic.
He despises hedgehogs.
Dear God.
Have you seen that meme where it's like, to prepare for his role as Dr. Eggman, Jim Carrey started torturing small animals in the woods?
Oh my God.
Like talking about like method acting and shit. Just like, is this method acting gone too far? To prepare for his role, he started torturing birds and squirrels. It was just a picture of Jim Carrey like just fucking smiling and shit. God, I love that so much. We go off on too many tangents. I apologize. Zimbabwe children witnessed aliens.
Yeah, 62 kids, actually.
Yeah.
62 kids. I guess they were outside, and they were at, like, I think it was recess or something. And most of the teachers were just doing their thing or whatever. I think there was one, if I'm remembering correctly, there was one adult who was in charge of like handing out snacks or something. Yeah. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. But yeah, all the kids witnessed this craft land like
craft
close
singles.
by to this. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
I hear things and it's just like, This is like that other thing I know.
Kraft mac and cheese.
Mac and me, McDonald's,
Mac and me. Yeah.
E.T., Steven Spielberg, Dr. Eggman, Jim Carrey, the Grinch. I'm sorry.
That's how conspiracies get started.
Yeah. We have poisoned someone's mind today.
No, you're good. There's actually interviews of these kids today, like as adults, and they still stand by their story.
God damn.
A lot of them are pretty fucked up from it.
I'd imagine so. If a fucking creature that you could barely comprehend started talking to you with its mind, that would change your fucking life.
Yeah.
And probably not for the better, because like that would shatter any presuppositions you had about the universe and religion and spirits and like whatever. Because like at that point, where does it stop? Because it's like, well, if this thing can speak to me with its mind, what about like, what if every religion on earth is this? What if everything I know about the universe is this? Like everything like that. It's like that would destroy your perception of reality.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. So like when the kids returned back inside, like the teachers were seeing these kids were fucking terrified, like fucking traumatized, like hysterical. And they were all, I think most of them were just telling the same story. I think they even had these kids draw what they saw, and a lot of them were very similar. Like even the pictures that they drew. Like, if anyone wants, there's a pretty good Wikipedia page about this. Maybe we'll post that like on Twitter so people can check that out.
Something I'm really happy about is that Wikipedia has really started to like crack down on shit. So like now it can be trusted because like they're starting to really like, is this misinformation? Is it not? But like really taking seriously what gets put on there. Because for a while, the whole thing of like Wikipedia could not be a trusted source because like people could just do whatever. But now it's like, well, this is actually wrong, so we're going to change it back to the way it was or shit like that.
Right.
Like I don't know why I just felt the need to share that, but like I'm glad that it's the way it is now. Because now when you say like, oh, Wikipedia, people aren't like, oh, you fucking idiot for citing Wikipedia.
Oh, man. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like, it's hard to just deny all these kids and call them all liars. Like, I don't know too many kids that age that would make up something that fucking crazy. Like,
and that kids, they all got the
kids are pretty overly honest about shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And if it was a situation where they had lied about it, you know damn well some of those kids would have gotten the story wrong.
That's the amount of 6-year-olds, dude.
Yeah, and the amount of coordination that would take.
Yeah,
like nah, fuck off. Like something went down. Something. What? I don't know. I wasn't there, but something went down.
No, kids can be brutally honest. That's why they'll tell you you're fat or like ugly or whatever. You know,
all the time.
They just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit, dude. Like, you know, we talked about, you know, some of these kids mentioned like telepathy, like these things were speaking to them like in their head.
Yeah.
Another case where that happened, and a lot of people might be familiar with this, you might not. The Betty and Barney Hill case. This is the early 1960s. It was, I believe they were on their way home from a honeymoon. I think it was in New Hampshire too. Pretty sure it was New Hampshire, but they were in their car and Betty saw what she described as a star from the sky like come down like out of the sky and over the mountain range that they were driving on. And she then later described that it went over a hill and then it was kind of just like wavering back and forth and it was eventually hovering over them. And then they pulled over the car because I'm sure if you saw this shit, you'd be like, what the fuck? I'm going to get out and take a look at this. Like, what the fuck is this? Or you might do the opposite and you might freak out and haul ass. I don't know. Just depends. Like, I would be like too curious. I'd have to pull over.
I would haul ass, dude. I would assume
so we're the opposite.
like the archangel fucking Michael or whatever just came down and he's just like that one. That's the one. That fat guy right there. We're killing him today. Like,
now
I would be gone.
No, dude, I will actually say it would be scary. I would definitely be afraid because this was at 10:30 at night. Apparently, it was like it was late at night. It's fucking dark.
We should do some alien exploration, or like go to like a haunted ass location. Just me and you, just record what we see.
We could try to go to like fucking Skinwalker Ranch or some shit.
Fuck that! I am not going there. I refuse. Like Skinwalkers and Wendigos are the only like quote unquote folklore thing, and I put that in quotes because I want to be respectful because these are religious.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the only things where I'm just like, I am not fucking with that. If you called me and you were like, we should go to this abandoned asylum that's supposed to be like super fucking haunted and have like a demon living in it, I would be like, fuck it, let's ball. But like, I am not fucking with Skinwalkers. I refuse.
Yeah, I don't know. People claim to see like fucking UFOs and like demons and whatever. Like, there's a whole laundry list of shit people claim to see at that place. But
I gotta take acid at some point, man.
I'm good, dude. I'm not brave enough for that shit. But yeah, anyway, Barney gets out of his vehicle because he's saying, what the fuck is this thing? Yeah. So he gets out of his car, and they were coming back from vacation, so he had some binoculars in his car. So he takes his binoculars with him, and he's out in this field, and he's looking up, and I believe this thing was the size, I think it was like, they described it as like 40-foot-ish, give or take. Yeah. The thing's fucking huge. And he's looking up at this thing, and it's not too far above him. I'm thinking it was like 100 feet or something. That's what they described. Yeah. And he's looking at it, and it looks like the sides are like translucent, almost like a window.
Yeah.
And he takes out his binoculars, and he's looking at this fucking thing. And he claims that he saw what looked like eyes, like a bunch of eyes, like looking out, looking down. And he looked at one specific pair of eyes that were looking at him. And in his head, he said he literally it sounded like someone just saying, it's clear as day in his head, like, don't be afraid. Like, we're not going to harm you. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
While he was making eye contact with this thing. So naturally, he freaks the fuck out and hauls ass, dude.
It's just, these aliens are just like, oh fuck, like he's looking at us like, dude, relax. Like we're just here to vibe.
If you see like a fucking stray, you see like a stray dog.
Holy shit!
To me, it's like I would think of like if you saw like a stray dog in the street or something, like, and you're like it's okay, like you can come here, it's okay, like we're okay, like I promise you're safe.
We're friends.
That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know. I could be totally fucking wrong. But he hauls ass back to the fucking car, and they fucking fly down the road. I mean, like peel out, fucking. Mind you, like before I continue, like their story, a lot of these details did not come out until they went under like serious like therapy and hypnotism and all kinds of crazy shit. Before they had gone through all those doctors, they basically they experienced what's called missing time. And this, for those of you who don't know what missing time is, you'll find missing time in a lot of different cases of abductions or close encounters. And basically what it is imagine where you are now, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to this, imagine in the snap of a finger, 40 minutes has just passed. You're no longer where you're at. You're somewhere completely different, and you have no recollection of what just happened. You have no fucking clue. You're probably freaking out like anybody would. They'd be like, what the fuck just happened? How did I get here? What, anyway. This is what they experienced. This is exactly what Betty and Barney Hill experienced. They remember seeing this fucking thing in the sky. Okay. But Barney hauled ass. Okay. That's where we are in the story. He runs back to the car. He's like, fuck this. I'm out of here. They peel out, haul ass. And Now, where I'm going to pick up the story is where they started talking to therapists and kind of like the therapists help them kind of remember all the shit, like put the pieces together of that missing time. They had to really dig into them for them to finally just like figure out what happened. Because a lot of time in like traumatic events, like your brain will actually stop remembering things. Like
if something's too hard for you to process at the moment,
yes, your brain,
you just
it's
turn
absolutely possible. This is not just like some fucking bullshit thing. This actually happens. But anyway, what they were able to recover from their memories is they mentioned that down the road, they saw what appeared to be like two men like standing out in the road, like in uniform. Is it what it looked like?
Yeah.
And mind you, at that time, they're like, okay, who are these fucking people? We're going to stop and see what the hell is going on. Like, clearly there's something going on or whatever. So these men come up to the car and they're like, hey, we're going to need you to step out of the vehicle. You know, we just want to take you somewhere and do some tests real quick. For whatever reason, they were just cooperative. They were like, okay, you know, so
at the time, there was like a lot of civil rights things going on.
Oh,
I feel like they cooperated because at the time, like, because Barney was black, in case anyone listening doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, there was an interracial couple in the 60s.
During,
the early 60s.
So I kind of feel like it was a situation where, okay, we should cooperate because if we don't, we're going to get the shit kicked out of both of us.
Oh, yeah,
like,
dude.
That's very plausible. So I'm thinking that might be it. I understand how sketchy it is, but I think like it was a situation of like we should just cooperate to get this over with.
Oh yeah. The racial prejudice was fucked. I mean, it's still fucked, but back then it was just like it was so wide open.
They didn't care to hide it back then.
Right. So they remember following these people, okay, and they went up a ramp onto the ship, okay, and Barney and Betty apparently went to different rooms in this ship, and I'm using quotations here because, you know, I'm not going to call them liars. I really am not. I am a skeptic, but I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm not saying that it's true.
Yeah.
I just, you know, it's an interesting story. Barney has claimed that he went into a room where he was laying down on a table and they had this one weird cup instrument that it like went over his genitals, his dick and balls, and I guess they did like a semen extraction. And Betty, on the other hand, they apparently took a very long, large needle and stuck it into her navel.
Jesus Christ.
And you can actually listen to the audio of this poor couple, this audio clip of them describing what they're going through. And Barney is a big dude. Like this, he looks like he could play like fucking like defensive end. Like he's a big dude. He is hysterical in these recordings. Like fucking just clearly trapped. If this dude is lying, he's a fucking incredible actor.
Yeah.
Like he's describing how fucking afraid he is when this is happening. Betty as well is obviously crying. Like, you know, she having to relive this in her head. She's just like struggling the entire time to just fucking talk. Yeah. In fact, the doctors are just like, go on, just, it'll be okay. Just walk us through the next step, you know? But after these, whatever you want to call it, experiments, it's like a crazy doctor's visit or some shit. Who knows? Anyway, after these things took place, the only thing they remember is now they're back in their car.
Yeah.
And they're 40 miles farther than where they were.
Yeah.
And they have no recollection of how they got there and how fucking long it's been. But I just can't imagine being in my car and then fucking out in a split second, I'm 40 miles farther and all this time is missing and I have no idea what the fuck happened. So that's basically what they experienced until they went to a doctor to uncover what happened in between that 40 miles or whatever amount of time took place. If you want to look into this case or just like read up on it, I would also suggest there's a great podcast called Last Podcast on the Left that covers the Barney and Betty Hill incident, and it's pretty great. There's also another great podcast called High Strange that covers it, and they did a fantastic job as well. You could look up, I'm sure, on YouTube and find plenty of cool footage and find the original audio recordings of them, going over what they experienced. That case is pretty scary to me, honestly. Yeah. I don't think that they're lying. I don't know for sure that all the facts add up, but I don't believe that they're lying because it's just way too... Whatever they experienced, it was real enough to them, like, to convince me.
Right.
Another great case I wanted to go over with you guys is Travis Walton, his UFO incident. And there's actually a movie that PAX you need to watch called Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
Some of you have probably already seen that movie. It's fucking awesome. It's terrifying. There's actually one scene that scared the shit out of me. I'm not going to go over that movie because it was obviously Hollywood taking his story and amplifying it and adding what Hollywood does to fucking alien and UFO shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Travis Walton claims that he was abducted, and he had several men with him whenever he was working.
Yeah.
See this happen. They were out in the woods on a contracting job. I think they were chopping down like a big plot of land. They were chopping down trees.
Yeah.
And after one day of working, they were leaving, and on the way out of the job site, they're going through the mountains and through the trees, and it's foggy and fucking nighttime. Like, they're out in the fucking country, out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But they see a fucking really bright light, and they're driving, and they're getting closer and closer and closer, and then they're so close to this thing that they stop the car. They're like, what the fuck is this thing? So they stop the truck, and they're all just staring at this fucking thing, and it's like obviously this fucking like glowing metallic thing floating out in the woods, and they can see Metallica. Clear as day. Yeah, it's the band Metallica just floating.
They were all shining really fucking hard. This is back when Jason was in the band.
Uh-huh. They were
just fucking
yeah.
But
I am the chamber.
Anyway, this fucking thing's just floating there. They're like, what the fuck is this? Everyone's freaking out, but Travis is the guy.
I'm sorry, I'm just still imagining Metallica in the woods, just floating, and all these people coming by like, what the fuck
it's just
is that?
A giant James Hetfield head floating. It's like 30 foot big.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, Travis is the one in the group. There's always that one fucking guy in your group.
There's always one person named Travis.
He gets out of the fucking truck, and he starts walking towards this thing. Now they're all
that.
And they're all like, dude, get the fuck back in the truck. Like, let's get out of here. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? So Travis walks up to this fucking thing, and he's getting closer and closer, and he describes this thing like he felt like there was like an electromagnetic field he was in. Like, you could feel the static in the air.
Yeah.
And it wasn't making any fucking noise. Maybe like a low rumble. Mind you, these are all quotations. I wasn't there for this, but he got close to this thing, and the group of friends, all still to this day, and they're all pretty fucked up from this story. They say that this thing zapped Travis like a fucking thing of energy, hit him so fucking hard that he flew and hit like a tree behind him. Like, it fucking tossed him like a fucking ragdoll. And So naturally, the guys back in the truck were like, "Oh my god!" So they
got Travis.
They fucking hauled ass.
They left Travis.
They were freaked out, dude.
Did they leave Travis?
Yes. So they probably get like half a mile down the road, and they're all panicking. I'm sure they're all talking amongst each other, like, "What the fuck was that? What happened? Is he dead? I think he's dead. I think he might be dead. Whatever." So they stop the truck, and they're like, "We have to go back.
Yeah,
we have to go back. We have to go back."
Your boy Travis.
Mind you, these are just coworkers. Some of them didn't like each other. Like, they were just there to work at the end of the day.
Like, come on.
It doesn't matter. You don't fucking leave somebody behind like that. So they turn the truck around and they go back. But Travis is gone. The fucking craft is gone. There is no trace of him fucking anywhere. They have no fucking clue where he's been. Like, so they're looking.
Is he still missing?
No. He's here. Cool. He's here. Spoiler alert. No. No.
Well, you're like, they have no idea where he's been. So I'm just like, oh fuck, like he's gone.
No. He's very much alive, and he's still telling his story to this day.
God damn.
But the friends obviously are in a panic. They're freaking out. Their friend is gone. They think he's dead. They have no fucking clue where he is, or what the fuck they just saw. They have no idea. So they're freaked out. They head back into town, and I think they get. I'm trying to think. They pulled into some place on the way back. Some place in town they pulled into. Okay, and mind you, this is like. This is mid-70s. We don't have cell phones. We don't have fucking any way. We can't text somebody like, "Hey, what the fuck?" You can't just call 911 either, because it's the middle of fucking nowhere. There's not enough cell towers. Well, there's no cell phone. So anyway,
there's not enough cell towers to run your cell phone. That ain't a thing yet.
That doesn't exist. Yeah. So my non-existent cell phone work. God damn it.
There's no service out here.
Anyway.
My brick won't connect.
My Bluetooth ain't working, brother. No, so they get back into town, and the first place they see, I don't know if it was like a restaurant or some shit, but they go in this restaurant, and obviously it's like a whole group of guys are like, "Help! Call 911!" They're like freaking out. They're like, "Our buddy was," and they're telling the fucking people there like what they saw. Mind you, everyone who hears this is gonna be like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Like, that's nonsense. So they get the police there. The police take the report, and they all basically get accused of murdering this guy.
Fucking Christ.
Because they can't find him. Days pass, okay? Days.
Yeah.
It's been, I can't remember. I think it was, let me think here. So I don't want to give the wrong answer. But I believe, okay, I'm just going to go with days. That's the best I can do. Days pass, okay? And all of a sudden, I think gets a phone call. It's Travis. And he's
from the other side.
He's freaking out, dude. And he's naked and afraid, and he calls from like a phone booth. And they pick him up, and he doesn't realize that days have passed.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like days to him. Like, he doesn't understand what just happened to him.
God damn.
He's in like total fucking shock. He hasn't eaten or drank anything either somehow. Like, but anyway, he claims that in this time that he was missing or gone or whatever you want to call it, that he was abducted by aliens. Like,
fucking Christ, man.
100% he was abducted by extraterrestrials. And they were wanting to experiment on him, and he freaked out on them. And there's a whole, I'm telling you, like, these people that were with him when they saw him get abducted, or whatever you want to call it, they all took lie detector tests. They all passed with the same story. They all had the same exact story. They all passed. I mean, you can't really trust lie detector tests anymore, but
because it's like a lie detector measures like how anxious you get, basically. Like, measuring anxiety with a number is difficult.
Right.
And, like, with a graph is difficult. But basically, like, if you start to, like, get elevated and shit, it measures that. Which, the problem is that some people can just lie and not give a fuck about it. So, like, they can pass a lie, like, they could tell you anything and pass a lie detector test. So that's why, like, they haven't been super trustworthy. But I do feel like the average person would not pass a lie detector test if they were full of shit, because the average person isn't like an expert fucking deceiver, you know?
Right. Yeah. But by the way, it was 5 days. He was gone 5 days. Yeah. So 5 days had passed. He claims he was like a hospital like room, and there were like 3 bald creatures in there with him. His story is really interesting. If you want to like really go in depth with this, don't watch Fire in the Sky. That's not going to be your best source, because like I said, it is Hollywood. Anything involving UAPs, UFOs, aliens, whatever, they're going to amplify it into something that it's not, you know, just for,
you know what there should be more of?
What's that?
Alien horror games. Like, not necessarily like the franchise Alien, but like, there are barely any horror games
like
about
Earthworm
aliens.
Jim? Or like fucking
like if there was
the game?
If there, dude, fucking Atari ET game, God, that shit. But if there was like a video game where, even like Earthworm Jim, if there was a game where I was like in the fucking woods, I had no idea where I was at, I was butt ass naked, I was running through the rain, and fucking Earthworm Jim was like peeking around trees following me, I'd lose my shit. I'm going to use my 3 hyper intelligent brains to fuck this guy up. And I'm just like running around, like, oh my god, Earthworm Jim's gonna kill me. I played a game recently. It was called I Caught the Easter Bunny. It's like a 5-minute game. It was made in like 2 days. So you play as this guy. You have like this little device that tells you like where the nearest Easter egg is, and you find 5 of them, and then like the Easter Bunny runs up and like kicks you and kills you. That's not the scary, because like you can see him coming up. It's not scary. The scary part is when you take the role of a crime scene photographer and you're walking through this area taking pictures, and like you're on a track. You can only move forward. Like you can't do much looking around or anything.
Okay.
But out the corner of your, like, during the main part of the game, you can go wherever you want, look wherever you want. But during like the crime scene thing, you're going straight. And like you can't look around. It's just picture here, picture there, keep going. Out of the corner of your eye, you see the fucking Easter Bunny in the woods watching you. And like you hear footsteps and shit, and like you can barely see him, and like get closer and closer and closer, and then he fucking jumps out at you and kills you.
Jesus.
It was so like the beginning of the game was lame because it was like you saw him running up. It was like, okay, whatever. But the fucking ending, where it was just like, it was because it went from bright colors to being black and white in the dead of night. So it's not vibrant anymore. You're taking pictures of like a severed head and blood everywhere, and then you just hear like like in the woods, and you're just like, oh, and then like you take a picture and the flash shows that there's something off in this like the corner, just like stanced up at you, like fucking like ready to go. God, that.
Have you ever played Alien Isolation?
I haven't. I need to.
That game is fucking terror, dude. It is. That's a really good one. What about
there was an indie game about an alien abduction? I think Markiplier played it recently. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his videos, but like he's cool.
No, I like him. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like you're an investigator who's like trying to look into like the story that this family is saying, and they're all farmers, and it's like the aliens coming down, and you get to their house and there's nobody there. So, Eric is singing. You get to the house and nobody's there, and like you walk in, and you go to the kids' room,
Wow.
And there's all these drawings of aliens and stuff like they took us, whatever. And it's like, oh shit. And then you see a fucking light coming through the window and you hear this loud like noise.
What the
and you're just like, yeah, so it's like, oh fuck. So you go out and you try to run to your car, but the entire time you start hearing things running through the field. And like, if I remember the ending right, you get in your car and suddenly the light shines on you and an alien fucking breaks into your car and snatches you and takes you away.
What the fuck?
Like, that's cool as shit. There needs to be more of that, but there's just not.
We need to find out what that game is. I want to play it.
Yeah, it looks cool as shit. I'm gonna look, because I think he played it for like his 3 Scary Game videos. I think he played it for one of those. I will be looking through those to try and like find it for you so I can send it to you, because like it should be on either Steam or Game Jolt or itch.io, because like that's where he gets all of his indie stuff from. I'm pretty sure. Because like 99% of what I've seen him play on like the 3 Scary Games stuff, you can find it on like Game Jolt or some shit, and it's free,
right.
and it's just download it, do the fucking like extract the files, and then run it. Like it's. I figured out how to do that recently because of my buddy Lewis. Lewis, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, America's better than Scotland. Fuck you.
What the fuck?
Those aren't my actual opinions. I'm just saying it to be a dick. Don't hate me. Don't hate me, Lewis. But yeah.
One thing I do want to say before we leave today also, if you haven't seen yet, we have merch available. Well, we don't have a whole lot left. It's almost gone.
Yeah.
So if you want End of an Era merch, you got to do it now because it's literally almost gone. We have flags available. The hat I'm wearing right now, it's really sick. It's a dad hat. This is still available. I think we have like maybe 15 left. That's it.
Yeah. So get your shit while the getting's good.
We do have some joggers left, and they're fucking really badass. If you want some pants with our logo really big. Also, these will never ever be printed ever again. So literally, that's it. Also, Pax, do you have any announcements at all? Any shout outs?
I want to give a shout out to I'm trying to think of like anybody that I could shout out. I want to give a shout out to 3 people.
All right.
Fucking Death Metal Dad on TikTok. He's cool. He's a metal elitist, but he does it in like a fun way. Thrash Metal Dad. He's not an elitist. He's just cool. And I was gonna say 3 people, but it just left me.
Why don't we just go with Deathcore Dad, which is Bob? So it's like
go with Deathcore. So like Thrash Metal Dad, Death Metal Dad, and Deathcore Dad. Go give those guys some love and tell them that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them that the cum beast sent you.
Hell yeah, man! Xenoballs and cum beast.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we also finished our next single too.
Sure did. We recorded the music video for it Monday too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
if for anyone wondering, no, Eric's face is not in the video. I am the only living thing in the band that is in the video.
I might be. I'm gonna see if I can get some good footage.
That's true. That's true. But no, Eric's face is not going to be in it. You can stop jacking off in the corner to that thought. So
we're gonna have one single frame, but it's like so fast that you can't even see it.
1 pixel, 1 frame.
Yes.
We won't tell you which one.
Yeah. Right. If you can figure out that 1 pixel, we'll give you a free shirt.
Absolutely. Oh, speaking of Sanguisugabog, because you didn't know who they were earlier, I saw a video where their singer threw a football into the crowd. He was like, I don't give a fuck who caught that. Whoever gives it to me at the end of the night gets a free shirt.
Nice.
Yeah. So people just started fucking throwing hands over this football.
Oh, God.
Like, I want to do that at one of our shows. Like,
I just throw a shoe.
Yeah. It's like throw a shoe, throw my shoe, and it's like whoever gives me my shoe back at the end of the night gets free merch.
You throw your own underwear. It's like your underwear from that day. Just like
I rip the fucking breast pocket off of my polo shirt and just like whip it into the crowd. It's like whoever gives me that back.
You rip your underwear off like
Like I did, like everyone sees me like digging in my pants. They're just like, "What the fuck is he doing?" And I'm just like,
just give yourself a horrible wedgie in the process.
God, I would get carpet burn on my asshole and just like whip it at somebody.
You're like looking for it at the end of the night. Nobody wanted to return it. Someone took that shit home. They have
put it in their,
they have
to put it in their jar.
Yeah, dude. They have you sign it first.
They come out to me as like, I don't want merch, just sign this so I can go put it in my fun jar.
Yeah, dude, he wears it for the rest of his life.
Oh my God. He puts it in a jar and like fucking brews meat on top of it.
Brews some coffee with it. Oh, uses it as like a coffee filter.
Uses it as a tea bag, just like fills it up with all of his herbal goodness and just steeps it in the water.
It's just fucking
and like he squeezes it out into his mouth before emptying it.
Uses it as like a washcloth too. Like, God, dude, hell yeah, man.
We're joking. Someone would do that shit. Maybe not for me, because like
I would do that for you, man.
I'd do it for you too, Daddy.
All right, that's the next merch item we're gonna have. We're gonna auction off our underwear.
Absolutely.
We're gonna wear them.
We won't tell you whose is whose.
Yeah, we're gonna wear them for like 3 weeks and then like auction.
I don't think David or Eric would agree to that.
They better.
We're gonna kick him out of the band.
We're out of Eric's own band. Like, sorry, man, you're out, dude.
Wait, hey, you know that band that you started? We're kicking you out because you don't want to give us your underwear.
Like, don't you want us to be happy? Don't you want to like what's wrong?
Don't you want to support us?
Don't you want to be a team player? Like,
yeah, come on, like we're doing it,
dude.
A creature just entered your room.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him, dude.
It's me.
It's like the Raptors in Jurassic Park. Like they just peek out and just like.
She's saying it's time for dinner.
Oh, is it? No.
Yes. Speaking of dinner, it is time for us to hop off. If you guys want us to do a second parter of this, please let us know because we could talk about this shit all day long. In fact, there's like plenty of other cases that we would like to talk about. So, but
I'll try to not go off on as many tangents because I did that a lot.
No, you're fine, dude. That's what makes this podcast so great because we get distracted and start talking about underwear or
talking about killing someone's fish.
Yeah, dude. But anyway, the whole purpose of this podcast was to explain that if you want to check out our recipe for cookies and cream oatmeal.
So what you need to do, you need to get Quaker oats. Make sure they're steel cut. Don't fuck with that instant shit. All right. When you cook this, use a little less water than you think you're going to need. That way, when you pour your vanilla oat milk on top of it, it soaks in. It has room to soak in.
Right.
Then crush up your favorite cookie. Crush it as fine as you want. Leave it in big chunks if you want. Sprinkle it up. Mix it. At this point, you could be done. But if you want to make this like more of a dessert thing, then you need to take a sheet pan and lay a bit of parchment paper on top of it. Plop your mix down and spread it out into like a circle shape. Put it in the freezer for like a half hour to an hour. You now have a soft oatmeal cookie that has crunchy little Oreo bits in it.
What if we do the opposite? Like we start off with a recipe to tell our life story. Instead, like, hey, so Andrew, tell us a little about yourself. Well, if you take, so you're going to want to grab a 16-ounce filet. That's a big filet.
That's a big fucking steak.
16-ounce filet, which is, you may as well say a pound. But anyway. And then I was a baby boy.
And then I was a baby boy. I got some chicken marinating in the fridge if you want to know what I did with it.
Dude.
So I took,
Is this a part of your life story?
Yeah, this is true, though. It's like actually sitting in the fridge right now. So
I don't know if you guys knew this. This is true. But one time, Pax was a baby boy.
One time only. I've moved on from that stage in my life, and I would appreciate it if you allowed me to move on from that. We all make mistakes.
And this is a really sad story, too. This is true. For the first year of his life, he didn't speak to his parents.
I just screamed and shat.
Yeah, and for the first year of my life, I couldn't even walk, so...
Yeah,
it was rough.
I can barely walk now.
Dude, say.
Chicken recipe.
Anyway, go ahead.
Garlic powder.
Yes.
Pepper flakes.
Right.
Chili powder.
Yes.
Onion powder.
Mm-hmm.
Salt.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh black
Yeah.
pepper. A little bit of brown sugar.
A little bit.
Mix all of that together with a liquid consisting of equal parts soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce.
Right.
And then I took some Japanese barbecue sauce, like the thin, watery that you get in the squeeze bottle, and I just sprayed it in there for the sake of like adding more volume because the chicken breasts I have are kind of big.
Mm-hmm.
And all those seasonings, and I mixed up those seasonings, and then I laid the chicken in it, and I laid it down flat so that it was soaked. And every like 4 hours or so until it's done marinating, flip it. This is for the sake of like using as little as possible. Because like if you're gonna fill a bowl with this, just chuck your chicken in it and like leave it overnight. But if you're cooking like 2 pieces of chicken because you want to save the rest for something else, then like Ziploc bag, flip it every few hours, make sure everything's coated, and then by the time it's good and flavored, just cook it however the fuck you want to. But chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, a little bit of brown sugar, pepper flakes, and then mix it with the liquid.
That sounds delish.
It's gonna be good.
But anyway, that's Pax's life story right there.
Absolutely,
It's crazy.
That's all I do is cook. I cook and scream.
Yeah. In that order. In that order.
In that order.
Yeah.
I stand in the kitchen listening to fucking Bonnie Tyler, and then like under my breath, I'm just like,
oh fuck. Anyway, guys, that's today's episode. Like I said though, if you guys want to do more on UFOs, aliens, UAP,
if you have a favorite conspiracy theory, send it to us so that we can research it for you.
Actually, next episode, I'm going to have Pax tell me about a little crazy YouTuber he found that blew my fucking mind. We're not going to get into it. We cannot.
We're also not going to say this person's name because they might find out where we live
and kill us. This guy is fucking nuts.
This dude's insane.
Anyway,
I found a cult. We're going to leave it there.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. You're all lovely. We all love you. I mean, by me, I mean me, Paxton. Every one of us in this podcast love you so much.
All members of this show love you
every
personally.
Single one.
All 2 of us love you personally, bitch.
We love you, you assholes.
I fucking love you, you gap-toothed, dust-breathing, mud-eating imbecile. God damn.
All right, guys. Take it easy.